4 games were completed in the JPL on Sunday, including the clash between Waterhouse and Cavalier. We have a recap plus a preview of the 2 games to be played today.
It's Jamaica Premier League action yet again in Kingston, Jamaica. And we're live at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex in Arnett Gardens for yet another doubleheader in this football competition. First matchup, Very United against Dumble Holding, live today of course at 5 p.m, 6 ECT. That will be on SportsMax 2, to be followed by home team Arnett Gardens coming up against Newbies Falkland on SportsMax 2 as well, live tonight at 7:30 p.m, 8 ECT. Well, Sunday had some exciting matches, and let's have a look at the highlights for both those games. Harbourview against Montego Bay and Waterhouse against Cavalier.
So the sun was raging hot when O'Shane Nation sent them on their way. In this match week 11 fixture at the JPL, Nicholas Hamilton's shot saved by goalkeeper Devon Burton. Another Hamilton shot, this one off the right boot, blocked by Kevin Graham, heroic. From the centre half, putting his body on the line to help his team. And then Alan Otti, well, Graham, it was into space for Weatherly. Weatherly couldn't find the target. McDonald into the path of Allen. Look at that first touch, but then the ball bobbles and his attempted pass to Alan Otti cleared the crossbar, looked ugly. And then this moment, flick by Brackenridge to Talbot, is shot off target, but it ricochets off Kevin Graham. He was at the center of everything good and bad for Mobe United today. His deflection beating his goalkeeper, and that's how Harbourview went in front. So many of the game's big moments involving Kevin Graham. Witherly off the left foot, batted away by Bennett. Priestley, Hamilton, thought he chose the wrong option when deciding to go to the line. Easy for the goalkeeper in the end. Then look at Odell and Harding, over the head of Devereaux McKenzie, leaves him for dead. Trying to cut back the ball for Timar Lewis, and the block provided expertly. Or else that would have been 2-0 and a good night. Then this chance, look at Talbot, struggling to get the ball away. The header finds Alan Otti, who must score, can't score. A head-in-hand moment for the Mobe United marksman. Missed their best chance, the best chance of the game. Then Kevin Graham had to tackle. Did he have to tackle that way? Not sure. But he was booked already for the elbow on guard Stewart. And 2 yellows in football equal 1 red. So Shane Nation calling a halt to proceedings after about 97 minutes. So to our highlights now, referee Narisa Golsa sending us on the way. And Orlando Brown with the game's first effort, the ex-Cavalier man, sending it high. Colin Anderson plays Dwayne Atkinson in, racing into the box. But then he doesn't quite know what he wants to do with it. Whether to shoot, whether to cross, and in the end, he did neither. Simpson closed it down. Colin Anderson manufactures a shot that Foster keeps away. Then Foster goes to close the space on Ronaldo Webster, who tries to trick him, but Foster is wise to the trick. Fire extinguished. Then this, Shanil Thomas, Colin Anderson. Deflection on the shot. Keith Simpson stepping in to take the sting out of it. Easy for the goalkeeper in the end. Then Anderson racing through. Dwayne Atkins was giving him some support, but he went for himself, went by himself, Colin Anderson. Missing the target. Then this header. Well off target. Cavalier had a lot of offensive thrust in this game. Fine save by Foster to palm that away from the cheeky chip from Ronaldo Webster. And this, the finest save of them all. Dwayne Atkinson gets the power behind this, gets the drift away from the goalkeeper. Foster, the top hand, strong. Colin Anderson finding it in his heart to congratulate him. Then Bradford gets away from the defenders. Gio Leng stepping in to deflect it behind for a corner. Atkinson running through, and look at Colin Anderson in space, begging for the ball to be played in his path, or into his path. Atkinson didn't do so. Shot from distance from Howell, the skipper. Couldn't keep it down. Look at this. Wayne Allen stabbing the ball forward. And then look at Denardo Thomas racing forward. And a series of intelligent decisions made here by Waterhouse men. That pass, then this pass, then Dunkley's pass to Gray, then his pass to Reed, then Reed's pass to Bradford, and Bradford's finish. Yep, that's what I mean. Intelligence all around from Waterhouse. And that's how they breached the Cavalier rear guard. Excellent team goal, and you're welcome, sir. Larissa Golson, seen enough in about the 96th minute.
Two big results there for Waterhouse and Harbourview. Of course, both those matches played at the Ashenine Stadium on the grounds of Jamaica College. Chapelton Maroons against Mount Pleasant, match postponed because the Chapelton Maroons couldn't host a team, and we wonder how that will affect the league going forward. Of course, yeah, as we said, Harbourview with a 1-0 victory. Tivoli Gardens finally getting a result to go there with a 2-1 victory over Malines United. Humble Lion stiff in the back as usual with a 1-0 victory over Portmore United, who suffered their second defeat in as many matches. Waterhouse over Cavalier yet again, and these two matches that we're expecting shortly in match week 11. This is how the table stands at the moment. Cavalier still on top with 22 points from 11 games. Mount Pleasant a game less, they have 21 points. Humble Lion, Harbourview, Arnett Gardens and Waterhouse finish off the top 6 and the playoff spots, and Fear United and Falkland, both who we'll see today, sit in the relegation zone, and yeah, winless so far this season. Dumble holding just outside of the playoff spots in 7th, and an opportunity today to go higher up. Well, two big matches today. Can Falkland and Veer get a win finally? Can Dumbleholden and Arnett Gardens continue to show some form of consistency? Mariah and George, what say you?
So Chris posed a question to us, George. I'm hoping that they can find the consistency, but of course, based on what we've seen from the weekend, there can be upsets, and anything can happen where these teams are concerned.
Yeah, it would be a surprise though if the colours of Arnett Gardens and Dumbleholden are lowered by the teams they're facing, Veer and Falkland respectively. You expect the form to hold up, but as you've said, you never know.
Yeah. Well, Chapelton Maroons are in hot water with Professional Football Jamaica Limited, PFJL, after failing to honour Sunday's fixture against Mount Pleasant in the Jamaica Premier League. It's understood that several players have stayed away from Chapelton Maroons days after the club's owner sacked head coach Lenny Hyde. Well, joining us to discuss these developments is the club's assistant coach, Nigel Stewart.
Before you go to Nigel though, Mariah, I think it's prudent for us to, before Nigel comes in, to read a statement just coming to hand from the Jamaica Football Federation talking about that abandoned game between Mount Pleasant and Chapelton, which was set for Sunday. And the JFF release says, for breach of Articles 7.5 and 6, the game has been awarded to Mount Pleasant FA by a score of 3-0. Chapelton Maroons FC, the JFF says, has also been fined $200,000. This payment must be made on or before Friday, February 3, 2023, that's next Friday. In keeping with the regulations, a further 6 points have been deducted from the club's current points standing. The club must also compensate for any damages or losses suffered by Mount Pleasant FA and the JFF up to a maximum of $150,000. Invoices, the statement says, will be provided as soon as they are available. The statement concludes, finally, the club, Chapelton Maroons FC, will be referred to the JFF Disciplinary Committee for further action to be taken in accordance with Article 70 of the JFF Disciplinary Code.
All right, so we're set to be joined now by the assistant coach. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, so news just coming to hand, of course, some serious sanctions here by the JFF. What's taking place at Chapelton Maroons?
Well, I haven't heard about that statement, so I can't comment on that statement. But we have a crisis in where we have some at Saturday morning turn up at training. We only have 7 players out of 13. Then of course 6 of them didn't show up because they had the flu symptoms. We bring them to the doctor, and the doctor diagnosed that they have the flu. So they have to go back home.
But Nigel, if players are sick, right, and they've given, the doctor has told them to stay away, don't you have it in writing where you could have, given it to those in authority to avoid these sanctions? Because these sanctions, based on the JFF and minor sanctions, you're already fighting relegation. You're about to lose 6 additional points. The points are being now awarded to Mount Pleasant. Don't you feel as if there were things that the club could have done to avoid these sanctions if the players have the flu?
Yeah, but the person that takes care of our administration right now had sent an email to the JFF. I think 2 emails to the JFF. On Saturday morning, after we took the players to the hospital, to the doctor.
But Nigel, here's the thing. I know it's a difficult moment for the club. It's very, very, very difficult. And I wish we weren't here talking about this. We were talking about the team's progress for the remainder of the tournament. But isn't it true that Clarendon College, in solidarity with Lenny Hyde, instructed their players to not turn up for the team travel to the Mount Pleasant game on Sunday? Isn't that true?
Well, I don't have first-hand knowledge of that, but yes, they didn't turn up. But we had acquired a few players that we went to the town and on Thursday to get them registered and get them up to play. I mean, talking to the person who went to town, we did almost everything right up to getting a final text or something like that. Something of the sort never go through for us to get the players on Sunday.
All right, so I'm hearing 2 things from you. You started by saying that it was a medical issue, an issue with the flu, struck 7 members of your squad down. Then you are giving me room to believe that it is true that Clarendon College instructed their players to not travel with the team. But amid all that, isn't there something in the rules that says where a team cannot field a team in a game, and that is communicated beforehand, that arrangements would be made by the competition, the organizer, to reschedule the game? Then if that is so, how come the JFF and PFJL did not relent to allow this game to be rescheduled? I'm trying to understand that.
Well, I'm trying to understand the same thing, because as I said before, on Saturday morning, the manager took the players to the doctor. Then we got the statement from the doctor, which we then sent an email to JFF. I think he told me that he sent 2 emails to the JFF.
But here's a problem. But here's a problem you may have, though. At the start of the season, how many players were you required to have registered with the team? Isn't it 23 or 25?
I think 25, 30.
25 to 30. Excellent. So the JFF's reasoning is, and it seems sound from where I sit, if you have 7 members of a 30-man squad or even a 25-man squad absent, let's say the 25-man squad, 7 members are unavailable because of flu, that should leave you with 18. So the JFF is saying, well, look, it's not our fault that your squad complement is really at 13 when it ought to be 25 or 30. Therefore, if you tell us that 7 are absent and you can't field a team, that is not grounds for us to reschedule the game. Hence these tough sanctions that the JFF has laid down. Doesn't that appear to be what happened, what the JFF did? That's the line of reasoning?
Yeah, that seems to be, but put in consideration that all the school players that we have from Clarendon College, they are stayed away.
Again, bringing back to my question, so are you saying to me then, it's a combination that the same players who were told by Clarendon College to stay away are the same players who got the flu?
Not those players. Those players wasn't in the team for preparation for the game. You know?
So the Clarendon College players, despite being told to stay away, they did turn up.
No. They didn't form. They didn't form up for training. They wasn't in the preparation for the game.
Oh, okay. So let me work it out now. You're saying that your 13-man squad did not include the players that CC Clarendon College told to stay away.
No.
Okay, good. But you're saying of the 13 that you thought you had, 7 of them got the flu.
Got the flu.
Okay. So I'm saying again, did you make representation to the JFF in writing that, look, we are facing an unprecedented set of circumstances which has whittled down our squad, and then that whittled down squad has been further struck by the flu virus. Hence, in writing, we are requesting a postponement. Did you make a request for a postponement in writing? And if yes, to whom did you send that piece of correspondence?
Yes, and it was email. It was one of the admin person who sent that email. And Saturday morning, when we realized that we have 7 players with flu, because it actually sits, because one had the flu before.
Yes.
One had the flu before that Ron Brown had the flu before.
Yes.
And we asked him to go home, but he was feeling so bad that he slept at the house.
And he passed it on to the other players, you believe?
To the other players. And Saturday morning now, we realized, because we were up for the game. All 13 players were up for the game.
Yes. So you're saying that insofar as the procedures to use in circumstances such as those, when there is a serious issue that could prevent a game from being played, are you saying that your administrative officers followed that procedure in communicating on time and making clear what the issue was?
On time, we found out about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock the latest, they went to the doctor. So I don't know about the time, but I know that we made that effort to get to the powers that be at JFF to let them know that we have a crisis.
Nigel, the letter that was sent to the JFF talking about the fact that you'd be short of players and wouldn't be able to field a team, did that email include a copy of the doctor's certificate for each player?
Yes, it's supposed to.
It's supposed to, Nigel. You're not giving me the information, then, Nigel. It's supposed to, or it did.
Well, it did. It did have a copy of all 6 players.
So attached to the letter, explaining the position and asking for a postponement. You see how specific I'm going? Attached to that letter was a copy of the doctor's certificate stamped authorized to support your claim that these players were unfit to take the field.
Right.
And you're saying that in the face of that, the JFF has gone and issued these sanctions.
Right. As I said before, it's the first I'm hearing about that sanction now, and I'm surprised.
So here's the thing. We seem to have a problem here. From where you sit, I know that you may not have had a chance to discuss this with your colleagues at Chapelton FC and your bosses. But if what you say is true, then clearly, Nigel Stewart, you'd be advised to appeal these sanctions, because it would be that it was almost an act of God that prevented you from fielding a team, because you couldn't field players who were stricken by the flu. So you from your personal position, do you believe the club should make ready to appeal these sanctions with the JFF?
Of course. And as I leave this interview, we're going to have a meeting and see where I go from there.
Again, I just want to be clear. Is it that you were informed that the email was sent with the relevant information, or do you know for a fact that the email was sent at the time on Saturday morning indicating that you would be short?
I was informed that the email was sent with all the requisite information.
Yes. Hear you on that. Beyond that issue, Nigel, and boy, it's a very tough situation that you find yourself in. What's happening at Chapelton? Because I asked that question because we spoke to Lenny Hyde last week, who said that there was a project discussed before the season. He says everybody knew, everybody who was a part of the project knew that there'd be an issue with using the schoolboys at a certain point, but that the school boards would become available after a certain time, and that results would be tricky and would be disappointing leading up to that point. But afterwards, you'd be able to show the true Chapelton worth at the top flight. So how is it on this day in sports, Nigel Stewart, that we're talking about Lenny Hyde as ex-head coach of Chapelton Maroons?
Well, I wasn't there in the beginning, so I wouldn't put it to that information. So
when did you come in? When did you come in?
It was in October.
You came in October, right?
Yeah.
Well, you've been there long enough, Nigel, to know what was happening in the project, because the project must have been spoken about. So how is it that the project was abandoned so soon and Lenny Hyde shown the door?
I'm not sure about abandon. I'm not sure about abandoning the project, but that is for management to really answer that question. I don't really want to get into that part.
All right, answer me this then, Nigel. Lenny Hyde told us last week on the SportsMax Zone that he understands that Clovis de Oliveira is now running things on the technical side at the club. Is that true?
Well, he's not. Clovis is not in Jamaica, so I don't see where Clovis is running side and that side. All
right, he's not in Jamaica, but is he coordinating things by Zoom or other social media or other technological? Not. So based on what you know, Clovis de Oliveira has nothing to do with Chapelton Maroons.
At this present time, no. I don't have no. At Chapelton Maroon, I don't know in present moment.
All right. So what is the job that you have been tasked with doing? Because if this stands and you say you will appeal, I wish you good luck on your appeal. If I was handling your appeal, I'd be very confident I could get something done for you. But if things stand if things are as they stand, Nigel, you'll be on 2 points. You're going to have a minus 18 goal difference. You'll be joint bottom with Veer. You've won 2 games. There are 2 teams who have been winless, who are winless, Veer and Falkland. So you'll be down there with them. What has been the task given to you as the assistant coach?
Well, as the assistant coach, we just have to keep the project going. At this speed right now, we are looking at some players to strengthen the squad and to see how far we can finish up the table.
Today is what? January 23. There are 8 days left in the month. Do you have some targets that you're looking at to bring experienced players in the squad to help the Chapelton Maroons cause?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And are you confident of signing players? How many players do you think you can get in before the window closes?
Well, I'm not going to put a number on it, but we are trying to get as much as we can.
How many players you need, Nigel? Since you can't put a number on how many you will get, how many do you need?
Well, at present, as I told you before, we have 13 players. I think we need maybe another 17.
Yeah. So you at least want a 22-man squad to work with.
Right.
So you take 9 more players in this window.
Right, hopefully.
Yeah. Do you have the resources to get 9 players?
Yes, we do. We are trying. We are trying. So.
Boy,
we're going to try.
You have a very difficult task on your hand. I wish you all the best. We wanted to keep us updated on what you are likely to do, but you say personally you would appeal and that you're leaving now to attend a meeting where you'll discuss these sanctions and discuss the club's next steps. That's correct?
Yes, you're correct.
All right. Nigel, I wish you all the best. You're going to need a lot of luck, and we hope that things can be turned around for Chapelton Maroons.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man.
All right. That's Nigel Stewart, assistant coach at Chapelton Maroons FC, Mariah. Let's take the break. Come back with more after these.